Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
I am that dude, Bodkins. Patty to patty. It's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy. Give a big round of applause for the one and only Bodkin Show. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show. Welcome to another great episode of the Bodkin Show. I am that dude, Bodkins, as you know what it be. It's a great episode of the Bodkin Show, but as I like to call this tonight, the Green Bay Packers funeral. It has been as bad as I thought it would be. 24/7 at halftime. Our defense looks atrocious. As bad as it possibly can. I brought out the Bart Starr jersey, folks. I haven't worn a jersey all year, just because for whatever reason, I just had it. And man, I thought, hey, I'll bust out the Bart Starr jersey because we need a Vince Lombardi type effort tonight. And well, we look like the shit. You know, I already dropped the F-bomb, so we might as well just open up. We look like the fucking high school fucking football team out there, folks. So, I mean, shit. This is what happens when the Packers are playing. I start drinking to put my sorrows away. The F-bombs are going to come out. I'll be watching a little bit on the half as we go through these games to help join me tonight. The K&K boys got some things going on, but to join this funeral and the burial of my Green Bay Packers is none other than, Whiskey Sports, my main man, Tanner. Tanner, welcome to the funeral, my friend.
Are we just burying them now? Are they just done?
I've been burying them all week. I told you on this morning show, I am so far gone away from this team. There's no coming back. I'm 35 years old, Tanner. I've been a Packers fan since 95, 96, since, you're about 10 years old, 9 years old when you start watching football and really getting into it. This is absolutely my least favorite team I've ever been a fan of. My least favorite team. There's no jumping. I mean, there's no stopping me from jumping off the cliff. I've already jumped off the cliff. This is 4 straight losses. This is a loss beginning of the year I thought we would lose. I mean, if looking at those, schedule when it come out, I probably had us losing to the Bills. But you have any? I've kind of laid the eulogy out here for the Packers. Do you have any last words on the Packers here?
I don't. You knew it was going to be tough coming in the way the Packers been playing. Unfortunately, this is not the matchup they needed after the last couple of weeks. So now they're getting smoked. But maybe this is a good thing that, hey, we're all really bad. Maybe we got to do something different. And next week, maybe they start stepping life up. So just wait.
So the comments are already rolling in here.
Scott, appreciate you.
Scott, who joined us in the morning show, he said, hello, Sir Bodkin. Well, Scott, I'm not doing great. I told you this morning I probably wasn't going to be doing great, Scott. I laid it all out on the line. And he said, hey, my guys from the morning show. And then Craig, who's doing some dad stuff, he might hop on. And Craig is dancing on my grave.
Supposed
to be my best friend over 12 years I've known this man. And he's just out here dancing on my grave, just peeing on it. As Bears get waxed today, but watching the Packers get our ass beat as bad as we are right now, just probably, Craig's got to be at least enjoying a little bit of it. I mean, at least he has that.
Yeah, I'm sure he's enjoying a little bit. I'm sure a lot of people are, especially the Vikings after their big win. So,
Yeah, we're 4 back, 5 back because they beat us head to head. Yep. There's no catch in Minnesota. And we'll talk about Minnesota here in just a minute. I mean, I knew it was going to, Tanner. I told you the beginning of the year. I was
did.
always realistic. I never said we were going to win the Super Bowl. I said, hey, we'll figure it out. I said it's going to be tough sledding at times. But that defense, our defense is absolutely atrocious.
Awful.
Our run defense, that's what we were banking on. That's what we were banking on. We our top 5 defense, run the football, and we'll be all right. That's not happening. Scott said, "You guys realize even with the loss, they are one game back. That's the only saving grace.
Is that they're in the NFC? That's the only saving grace.
Every other team in the NFC stinks. Absolutely stinks. I guess if you get in, you get in. But you can't tell me that you're better than that we're better than the 49ers. You can't tell me that we're better than the Eagles, the Cowboys.
No.
That we already lost to the Giants.
Yep.
So I guess, so there's those teams. Who else? We're not better than Minnesota.
Now, here's the big question.
I'm looking at some of the other playoff teams. Rams.
Are you better than anybody in the NFC South?
I don't know. Are we? Are we?
With Atlanta leading the division,
Bucks head to head. I guess head to head, we're better than the Bucks because we beat them.
Hey, I think you got the NFC South at least. I think you can say you're better than those guys.
Are we though? Atlanta,
I think so.
Atlanta at least plays
not
hard.
by much.
At least Atlanta, you watch Atlanta, at least they play hard.
Oh, they do.
Green Bay, I can't stand teams who can't stop the run. That's just effort. You're just, you know what I mean? You're not there. Atlanta can run the football, and we really can't run all that well. And we have better backs than Atlanta.
Yes, you do. Big time. Cordell's out, and they're still winning games. So
they got lucky today. We'll get into it here in just a minute too. Scott says Washington's 4-4. Washington now owns the tiebreaker over us, and they're 4-4. And could make
the newly energized Redskins, football, whatever they are, Commanders. Right?
Yeah,
newly energized.
We the Commanders. Yeah, that's who. That's.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's bad. It's so bad, Tanner. This is by far, I don't even, it's not even fun to watch. I've been part of, it's not like my first losing season.
No, it's not. You've had plenty.
We've had some, you know what I mean? But those teams are at least fun to watch. So you knew there's a big change happening, or Aaron Rodgers got hurt, fired Mike McCarthy a couple years ago. That was a down year, but that losing season, at least that turned into something better. And we're hey, we needed to get rid of Mike McCarthy. There were still reasons why this team
Correct.
just is zero fun to watch. We can't score. We can't do dick. That's just what it comes down to.
It's no momentum built. There's nothing like it has been the last couple of years for the Packers is what it is.
Scott's chiming in here. Nick, I feel your pain. The Patriots won today by kicking 5. The Patriots won though, Scott. That's the thing. They won.
They played defense and they were in it.
Yes. We can't play defense. At least the Patriots, they won. Mac Jones is awful. They got helped by a bad, not really a bad penalty, it's a right call. Mac Jones throws a pick 6, but before on the same play, it's a roughing the passer call, so it gets called back, and that kind of turned the game around for the Patriots. So let's get into it. I'm gonna share my screen here, and we'll get into some of these scores here before I start crying myself to sleep about the Packers here. It's so bad. Let's get here. We haven't even started the second. We're down. I told you it was gonna be a 14-point.
It was gonna be bad. I told you
I said it was 4. You'd have to give me 14.5 before I'd feel comfortably about taking the Packers. And how bad I know we are and how good I think the Bills are. Because the Bills, to me, are the best team in the league, hands down. I know the Eagles are still undefeated, and kudos to them. But if they played today, and I would take the Bills, and I think the Bills would probably be a 6.5, 7.5 favorite.
I think it's just interchangeable between the Chiefs, Bills, and Eagles. Flip a coin kind of games. That's all it is.
If the Eagles played the Bills, let's just say they played at a neutral site. Let's say it's the Super Bowl tomorrow. Bills, Eagles. What's the spread?
I
think
maybe -1.
You think the Eagles are that good?
I think they can compete with the Bills and the Chiefs both. I think the Eagles are up there. I really think the Eagles are up there.
I don't.
I know you haven't bought into them yet.
I'm not buying into. I mean,
they're showing
it.
Yeah.
I mean, they are today.
Where's Philly sports? Where's Philly sports? We need that audience.
hey, those guys will kill me again. They killed me yesterday on their show. I can't take any more stray bullets from Philly fans. So I guess I just need to be all in on Philadelphia. Hey, it doesn't help. I said the Phillies need to sell at the trade deadline, and they're in the Super Bowl. So maybe Philly's just got it out for me, Tanner. I mean,
it's that look, right?
It's something, man. I just need to start buying into Philadelphia. I got banned from Facebook for a day because my friend, I'm sure you shared the meme. You seen the meme where the kid is yelling at the Astros fan, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen that? And my friend, who's a big Phillies fan, I shared that, and I was like, I'd slap a kid. Well, I got banned from Facebook for 24 hours because I said I'd slap a kid. So Philly's just out to get me. I mean, Philly is out to get me, Tanner, left and right.
They're just coming after you now, like not even direct from the city.
No, my buddy Liz, he's a big Phillies fan, been a huge Phillies fan since I've known him. But I mean, just absolutely. What is that?
Oh man, that's rough.
Click on this. Yeah. So I got banned for 24 hours. I'm back now, but that was yesterday. So I was like, how does that happen? Like, I mean, Jesus.
All for saying I'd slap a kid.
Yeah.
That's great.
It was
Facebook jail.
Yeah, I was put in Facebook 24 hours release though. That's the Buccaneers.
Scroll down. You're off a week.
Last week my computer's screwing up here. It's
going slow. I got you.
Internet, doesn't.
I know about it.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's find it here. Trying to find Thursday night's game. Raven. There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
There it is. There we go. All right. Let's get into it. Thursday night's game. Ravens go into Tampa Bay 27-22. Let me get into some comments here real quick. Scott's saying he would favor the Bills in that matchup. Bills
4.5. Okay.
4 by 4.5.
That's fair.
Alan's chiming in here again real quick. My guy Alan's on every show. Love him to death, man. Alan, appreciate you always tuning in to every LTS show. Mahomes and Allen are the new Brady and Rodgers now. Yeah, do you agree with that?
I can get down with that.
I think it's more. I would say it's more to me Brady, Manning, because they're in the same conference.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I feel like Mahomes has a bigger enemy, or not bigger enemy, but a different kind of opponent than Allen for a Brady's Rodgers type of matchup. I'd say a Brady Manning is more comparable.
Yeah, because both of them have to get through each other to get to the Super Bowl. So I think it's a more, and they're both in their prime.
Yes, correct.
Both in their prime. Scott's chiming in here. He said the Packers are at midfield, and then he said, "Oops, forget that."
Good return.
Hey, Scott, that's what happens. The Packers do something great, and then there's a dumb penalty, and then everybody's like, oh, Aaron said that his teammates are garbage and that they shouldn't be taking snaps. Well, if you watch the damn game, his teammate, he's 100% correct. his teammates. He does something great, throws a 20-yard bomb, and then guess what? It's called back for holding or a block in the back, or we didn't get set our feet right. So Aaron's 100% correct, and everybody just wants to hate on the man, but he is right.
Exactly. Is he wrong? Not really.
No, he's not.
really.
Every time we do something great, we're 1 foot. What's the old saying? 1 foot ahead, 2 steps, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. That's the Green Bay Packers this season.
That's a very fair way there.
Alan's saying who will be Aaron Rodgers in that scenario. So if we're saying so it would be, I think, Joe Burrow or somebody like that.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of, a younger quarterback, I know they're in the same division, like Herbert or something, but I like the Burrow better than Herbert at this point.
Yeah, right at this point, because what Burrow's doing, he's already took his team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He said Romeo Doubs did have a hell of a catch. I mean, that's the only reason we're in this. I wouldn't even say we're in the game, but that's the only reason we got some points on the board. Kid made a hell of a catch. So let's get back into Thursday night's game here. Speaking of being dead, are the Bucks dead here? I mean, they look dead. 27-22. Baltimore goes in there. Lamar Jackson, 2 touchdowns. Gus the Bus had 11 carries for 65 yards. Isaiah, there we go. Aaron Jones. Isaiah Likely, 6 receptions, 77 yards, and a touchdown. He came out of nowhere, Tanner.
Out of nowhere.
I mean, hey, no Mark Andrews. Give it to the Likely kid. Tom Brady, the day before his divorce gets finalized, 325 yards, 1 touchdown. Lenny Fournette, 9 carries, 24 yards, 1 touchdown. Mike Evans had himself a game, 6 receptions for 123. But at the end of the day, Bucks lose. This game, what really wasn't all that close. I mean, are the Bucks dead? Or are they just able to stay alive because that division's so bad? Ravens go to 5-3. Bucks fall to 3-5 here.
They're not dead because they're in the NFC South, right? So they were up 10-3 going into halftime of that game. They actually had some momentum. And then the Baltimore Ravens came out of nowhere and decided to turn it on with Bateman out and Mark Andrews out, by the way, and no J.K. Dobbins. This Bucks team has something they need to do, a players meeting or something going into play, because it is not a pretty sight. This is 4 in a row now of losses for Mr. Brady. I think I can't recall the last time Tom Brady had 4 losses in a row. And I actually bet the Ravens money line on that game. And when I saw halftime 10-3, I was like, oh my God, here we go. The Buccaneers are going to come alive and they're going to end up winning this game because the Ravens can't do nothing without a couple guys. And they proved it wrong. So Buccaneers are not dead. They still have a chance to win this division because you have guys like teams like Atlanta and Carolina leading the pack, essentially. Those guys aren't going to be able to continue to do what they're doing, I think. So I think the Buccaneers, once they figure life out, will be straight in that division.
So Alan's kind of going back to his little conversation here. He said, would you say Jalen Hurts are too early? To me, it's too early on Hurts.
Too early.
I also think Hurts reminds me of Lamar Jackson type, maybe because they're running. But Hurts has improved, man. I mean, you might give that kid, he's in the MVP caliber situation, but he also might be most improved player on my team, get my vote there. Scott's chiming in here.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
He has never lost 4 in a row. I don't think Rodgers has ever really lost. Maybe his first year as a starter, he might have lost 4
maybe
in a
his
row.
first year, but
it's been a
Brady,
long time.
Brady, I think it's only lost 3 in a row once. So yeah.
Yeah, Brady's lost 3 in a row. He's never done that in his entire 23-year career. So,
that's insane. That's
insane. What is wrong with the Bucs, though? It's some of that offensive line? Because it doesn't seem like, much like the Packers, it doesn't seem like they can get their running game going, or they when they do, then they give it away. Now Shaq Barrett's going to be out for the rest of the year, torn Achilles. He was one of their top defenders. What do the Bucs got to do to?
That was a nasty tackle. Yeah.
What do the Bucs got to do to turn this around, Tanner?
Honestly, they seem to get some confidence in themselves. Really, like they have all the pieces. Yes, their offensive line could be to blame. Oh, that's a nasty replay. Could be to blame coming into this play, but I just think it's a confidence issue. Right now, the defense is struggling with health. But even when the defense was healthy, you saw that against the KC game, it didn't matter for that game. So, like, I just think the Bucks offense needs to get something right. They need to have some confidence in the play. They have all the weapons. And look out for Rashad White, by the way. He might be overtaking Fournette by the end of the year, in my opinion, as we continue to see the run game.
You say that, but Fournette still had 71% of the snaps yesterday. So,
Mhm.
and I got.
I'm saying by the end of the year.
Well,
Yeah.
I hope not, because I got Lenny on my fantasy team. So I don't need that.
There's still a lot to do with the Bucks. Like it's a big mess right now for Bulls and that team.
Rams Bucks next week, and Cup is hurt. Hey, both those teams are just touchdown. There we go. They're probably gonna get right here. They're gonna get Tanyan pushed off. They're already calling it back. I told you, 1 foot fucking forward, 2 feet back. Jesus Christ. Sorry guys for my profanity if you're watching. I'm sorry.
That's the whole reason I joined.
That's two teams right there that are struggling too. Rams, Bucks, and they're going to play next week. So that team, whoever loses that game, is going to be in real danger.
Oh yeah.
Alan, my man, we're here with the stats here. Last time the Packers lost 4 in a row was 2006. So yeah, that was. Then we went and drafted AJ Hawk in the top 5 of the draft. So that was probably that was one of the bad years. We fired Mike Sherman. That's the next year we brought in Mike McCarthy and the boys. And we started turning it around. So I remember that now. Let's get into the game across the sea. Hey, keep doing high knees, Russ, on the plane, because it seemed to work here.
We got points. We got points on that board there. You see that? That's a 2 and a 1.
21-17. An ugly game, but Denver pulls this one out. I mean, 21-17. Russ Wilson, 252 yards, 1 touchdown. Latavius Murray, 14 carries, 46 yards, 1 touchdown. So he's the only player in NFL history to score 2 different touchdowns on 2 different teams in London. So there's that. Jerry Jeudy, 6 receptions, 63 yards, and a touchdown. Jacksonville, I mean, after the nice little hot start, it seems like so long ago, they are who we thought they were. Trevor Lawrence, 133 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 bad interceptions. ETN got a lot of the, it's his backfield now, and it shows. 24 carries, 156 yards, 1 touchdown. Evan Ingram, 4 receptions, 55 yards, and a tutter. Denver now 3-5, Jags 2-6. I mean, Tanner, there's not much to say. I mean, Denver gets a win finally gets a win that they are supposed to be.
Correct. Yeah, and this is exactly the kind of offense that they're needing to win these games. By the way, I just want to notate kind of a fun fact. Denver was the only AFC West team to win this week, so that's kind of crazy,
Yeah.
Going into play. But there's I'm trying to find this quote I saw this morning about like the first 2 series or something like that. It was only like, I can't remember what it is. It was something ridiculous. It was like 20 yards is all they had in the offense. Like they started out so slow coming into play. And then the drives leading, like the final 10 minutes leading up to halftime, they had like 115 yards, a 2 touchdown or a touchdown or whatever, and a field goal. And like they kicked it into gear. Something happened where they kicked into gear. Now, Jeudy, for Denver has always been the main target. It seems like this year, like everybody wants to put on Sutton and stuff. Look, when he finds Jeudy, they get going. And I think that's the key here for us is he needs to make sure he finds Jeudy, because Sutton isn't going to help him get going. Obviously, it's Jeudy factor coming to play. And whatever it is, if it's high knees every week on an airplane that Russ has to do something, or I don't care what it is, let's do it. Let's get it, because this is what Denver needs to see from now. And that defense, by the way, continues to play spectacular coming to play. That is one scary defense right now.
Their defense is what I thought Green Bay's defense could have been or should have been, and carried our offense for us at times. Their defense is legit. Unfortunately, their offense, I'm still not buying into them. They beat the lowly Jags. Hey, good for you. But I mean,
How
still in
disappointing is
school.
that Jaguars team though right now? Such a great start, and we were all thinking we're like, hey, maybe Doug Peterson has his team turn around. Trevor Lawrence has played garbage every week since that Philadelphia game, and I don't know if it's just a scheme thing or if it's just how Trevor Lawrence is. So I don't know. I'm really disappointed in that team because I really did think in that division they're in that they'd have a little hope.
I wouldn't say they're garbage. Remember, this is a team that's picking back-to-back first-round picks, so they've been the worst team in 2 years.
They're on the verge of picking back to back to back.
I mean, I wouldn't think like they are garbage, but I wouldn't say like they're not like disappointing. Like the beginning of the year, I did like when they beat the Chargers,
Yeah.
and they put it on them, and you're just thinking, man, they're they're in some games, beat the Colts, and you're just like, hey, this team is it, but
Ever since that Philadelphia second quarter, it has been like Dogecoin going straight down.
Yeah. Back to being Jacksonville. That's just who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just hey. They're getting the pieces and they're slowly getting it together, but
they are.
I mean, it's still, somebody kind of said, I was on a show and somebody said, hey, this is Trevor Lawrence's like first year because last year, that don't count because he didn't have a coach.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair. I'll give it to that. I'll give it to him on that.
Yeah. So Alan's chiming in here real quick. He's saying the Packers in Detroit next week. So Detroit with Swift will probably run it down our throat. And we always struggle in Detroit. So give Detroit, Detroit probably wins that game. And then it's McCarthy's return to Green Bay. So, well, that'll be interesting. And then
I'm sure you'll love that.
That Scott saying Doug Peterson is so overrated as a coach. You agreeing with Scott's sentiments here? Doug Peterson overrated?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so yet or anything. I like what Doug Peterson does. Coming off the Andy Reid tree, I take Doug Peterson over Matt Nagy, obviously. So I think Peterson's just working his ways into that team. Like you said, I keep forgetting about last year how awful that chemistry and the organizational was. That Doug Peterson probably has a little bit bigger job than we all realize. So I like Doug Peterson. I like Doug Peterson as a coach, and I think give him a couple of years, I think he'll have it turned around.
So speaking of Detroit, Miami rolls into Detroit. I mean, lots of points scored here. This was a fantasy owner's dream here. If you had anybody,
I loved it
in this game. This was 31-27. This game was a little bit closer. That's what Detroit does. They're going to put up. Amon St. Brown gets that Lions offense going. I feel like. I mean, Lions fall to 1-6. Dolphins
between him and Swift.
Yeah. The Dolphins are back here with Tua go to 5-3. They had the 3-game losing streak without Tua, but when he's in there, they're a little bit different team. I mean, Tua had himself a game, 29-36, 382 yards, 3 touchdowns. Raheem Mostert, 14 carries for 64 yards. But you get to the receiving core, 12 carries, 108 or 12 receptions, 188 for Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle, 8 for 106 and 2 touchdowns. Mike Gesicki, 3 for 38 and a touchdown. And then, like I said, the Lions, Jared Goff, didn't throw the bad interception. There's 321 yards, 1 touchdown. Jamal Williams, 10 carries for 53 yards and 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Swift working back from that injury, and they just got down, so only 5 carries there. Amon St. Brown, 7 for 69. TJ Hawkinson, 3 for 80. You buying back in on the Dolphins here, Tanner? And how high is the seat getting here for Dan Campbell as the Lions are now 1-6?
Better team won. Okay, we'll state that fact. By the way, I thought the Lions should have had another play coming into play. That 4th down or 3rd down, whatever it was, from Miami to end that game. Tyreek was short. It was a great spot for the Dolphins fans, bad spot for the Lions. Just want to throw that out there. But I do believe the Dolphins are the better team. I have not left the Dolphins bandwagon yet. I think they are a hot team. They could compete for that second spot up there in at least the first place wild card, right, for that to play. So I think Tua's going to continue to exceed our expectations. He's going to be exactly what we want. We saw with Jalen Hurts. I like Tua. I like Tua and his weapons. As long as he has his weapons, Tua will be fine. Keyword, have to have his weapons. Outside of that, Detroit, Dan Campbell, as long as they're staying in games, I don't think his seat's hot at all. Having the one blowout this year, and that was with like 4 or 5 key players out. I'm not concerned about Dan Campbell's hot seat right now. I think he is, I think he's safe. I think he's got a new atmosphere in this team. You see the fight. They're just getting beat by better teams.
Yeah, but you're supposed to be biting off kneecaps, and you're supposed to have a defense, and their defense is awful.
They got a lot of work to do.
I mean, they need a secondary. They can't stop the run. I know they drafted Aiden Hutchinson, but hey, next week there might be a lot of points in that Green Bay Detroit team because neither one of them got a damn defense. So
I mean, that's still, I think, continuing on, that's still the hottest offense Detroit is.
Their offense
the
looks better than ours right now. So I mean, they can put up points and we can't. So
yeah, exactly.
There's that. Scott wants to know: do you believe Jamal plays better when Swift is in? It seems like he does play better. It's like he likes that competition when Swift is in there.
It's just something about it, the way it's split carries. I don't know if Jamal just doesn't like getting the full, back attention, the full carries into play. You saw that with Green Bay as well. When Jamal was playing backfield, he was amazing, but when he had to go take over the main role due to an injury, then he struggled. So, I mean, I think Jamal Williams is a better split back carrier, a more support role guy. But when he's in and Swift is in, that guy just runs over everybody.
Yeah, and Alan says, and just think that once they get Jameson Williams back, they'll be better. Yeah, Williams hasn't played. They drafted him, to be kind of that stud wide receiver for him, that number one guy going forward. Kind of stretch the field guy while Amon St. Brown works underneath. That could be a nice 1-2 punch with Hawkinson. But and then if you're the Lions. Yeah, if you're the Lions though, and you start, you take a quarterback. Let's say it's Bryce Hall or Bryce Young and CJ Stroud from Ohio State. Like you get him in the draft, and you team him up with Amon St. Brown, and you team him up with Swift, and you team
think
up with
Goff's
Williams
the issue
and Hawkinson. I don't think Goff's the issue. Their defense is obviously the issue. I'm just saying, you got a good young core, right? Like, when's the last time you said that about Detroit? You know what I mean? Like, if they go that route.
Honestly, Goff's young enough, obviously, that they don't need to worry about that. How about you go beef up the offense or defense? Go get you some linebackers, get you some playmakers on defense. That's really what they need. They're obviously they can put enough points, right? Goff isn't playing bad by any means. He had a rough game, the one without everybody in the world that was out for them.
Yeah.
Outside of that, he's played really great ball this year. So go beef up that defense.
You're right. I mean, you're right. I just think how teams are. They're going to go out and get that flash new young quarterback.
They're like, look at this shiny thing. Well, go get you a shiny new head coach if you're going to do that.
Go get you a defense is what they
That's what they need.
What they need. Hey, let's get into the game of the day. Falcons and Panthers here playing for first place in the AFC South. I mean, DJ Moore catches an absolute freaking bomb of a touchdown to win this game. Really to win it. It was to win it. I mean, they were down 30 seconds left, no timeouts. PJ Walker throws a dart to DJ Moore. I said, holy shit. Unfortunately, Moore catches it, takes his helmet off, penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. And then Eddie Pinheiro misses the extra point.
Double doink Eddie.
We go into overtime. Then Eddie Pinheiro misses another one in overtime. Panthers go down, show you how to kick a field goal. Panthers are in first place in the AFC South in what was a wild game. back and forth affair. Panthers' hearts crushed here. Let me ask you this, Tanner. Are you mad at the call of the unsportsmanlike conduct, DJ Moore, in that scenario?
I don't like it. I'm not mad about it because the rule is going to get hit either way, no matter what time of game it is. It sucks. I don't like it though, because obviously I don't think that should be penalized coming into play. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not mad about it. I don't like the rule. That's all I can do. I can't be mad about it. Anybody gets hit with that. Tyreek Hill, it doesn't matter who you are. Travis Kelce, you're going to get hit with that. Take your helmet off. But yeah, no, I'm not crazy about it, but I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the stats, PJ Walker, 317 yards, 1 touchdown. Deontay Foreman, folks, 26 carries, 118 yards, 3 tutters. He had himself a ball game.
Taking the workload.
Yes. Hey, CMC, who?
Exactly.
DJ Moore, 6 receptions, 152 yards, 1 touchdown. You look at the Falcons here.
Welcome back,
Falcons
DJ Moore.
Yeah. Hey, Marcus Mariota, 3 touchdowns, did throw 2 interceptions. Caleb Huntley, out of all people, 16 carries, 91 rushing yards. Then, hey, Kyle Pitts is welcome to the season, folks. 5 receptions, 80 yards, 1 touchdown. They Panthers finally got a little passing game in this game, but first place now. Are you buying in here on the first place Panthers?
I don't know who to buy for that division. I don't know if I want to buy the Bucks. I don't know if I could even go out and buy the Saints, for God's sake. I don't know if I don't want to buy any of those guys. I love the fact that we got so many different teams in the contest of it. Like the Falcons, who were they were in the games all early season here coming to play, and they just continue to do their thing, ride it out, run the ball. Marcus Mariota continues to try to make plays, and now they're sitting up front. As the Bucks and Saints sitting back. And by the way, big shout out to Carolina. That team could have just fallen over dead after all the changes that happened.
Firing Matt Rule, getting rid of Robbie
Matt
Anderson,
Rule gone.
CMC
gone. Robbie
they
Anderson.
Look like a better team. They look like a better team. They look like a better
There's more fire.
Robbie was the problem.
Yeah, Steve Wilkes out there. Maybe Wilkes is doing his thing or something like that. But man, there's a lot of fire in that team. They're playing hard. They can just get rid of double doink Eddie. I think they'll be fine.
Hey, make a field goal, you win the game.
Exactly. Well, double doink Eddie. Why are you putting pressure on him? The better field goal kicker won the game.
So, Alan, I love you, but stop giving me these bad facts about the Packers, man. The Packers are never beating. It ain't happening tonight, Alan.
Pound him.
Yeah, this is you're just piling. This is supposed to be a funeral here, and you're just pounding it here on how bad the Packers are. Falcons get Cordell Patterson back. They can win the South. So it sounds like Alan's buying in on the.
They very well could.
Scott's saying he's buying the Saints. They look like they're getting it together. We'll get into the Saints game here in just a minute. The Saints, I don't know, Scott, because the Saints just got blown out last week by the Cardinals there.
Well,
we'll
get into that game here.
Yeah, as long as Andy's not throwing turning the ball over, I like their chances better than with Jameis, because Andy's doesn't turn over the ball, but don't tell me that on primetime. Maybe what you do is you start Jameis on primetime because Andy can't win on primetime, and you start Andy the rest of the season, Tanner, outside of primetime games. I figured out the situation.
Do they do that for Kirk Cousins too?
Hey, they might need to. Hey, Minnesota, they might need to. Speaking of Arizona, I picked Arizona to win this game on our spread wise because I thought D-Hop was back, but I didn't know 2 things. First of all, I didn't know the new Call of Duty dropped last night, so Kyler was probably staying up watching that. And then your boy Jared Allen, is it Jared Allen?
Jared Allen.
Jared Allen used to play for the Chiefs in Minnesota. They retired his damn jersey. Man was at halftime riding a freaking horse across the field. I mean, if I would have known that, I'd have picked Minnesota by a million. But anyway, Minnesota gets the job done here. 34-26. Kyler Murray, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not much to talk about in any of the running game. DeAndre Hopkins, 12 carries, 159 yards, 1 touchdown. Rondale Moore, 7 receptions, 92 yards, and a touchdown. Hey, that's why I held DeAndre Hopkins all them weeks.
D-Hop out here doing what he does best, carry the freaking team on his back.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also ran in for a touchdown, like a 22-yard scamper. Dalvin Cook, 20 carries, 111 yards, 1 touchdown. Justin Jefferson, 6 receptions, 98 yards. Adam Thielen, 6 receptions, 67 yards. This is the best start the Vikings have had since Brett Favre took them to the Super Bowl or NFC Championship game. Tanner, it seems like nobody's buying into the Vikings. Are you buying into Minnesota? And how far can this how legit are the Vikings?
All right, I am buying into this Vikings team here. I'm putting them up there in NFC wise, probably top 3, if not top 2, right up there with the Eagles. This team, what you saw today is what this Vikings team needs to do every week. It's spread the ball around, hand the ball off, use Madison, use Cook as they did down here. And you saw that Madison in the goal line too. He got his touchdown finally. But they spread the ball around, and then they played defense. Like, they actually played defense today, even though it doesn't seem like not on D-Hop, but everybody else, it was defense.
Well, I mean, you can't play defense on D-Hop. But
nobody can play defense on D-Hop. So, but like, it's what you saw today for this offense is exactly what you need to see every week. Spread the ball around. Kirk just needs to be confident with his throws, and then use your Dane running game to open stuff up. It's a perfect game for it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Minnesota, Scott said he picked Minnesota to win the division at plus 350 before the year started. So,
that's
I mean,
that
looks like it's going to cash, Scott. I mean, you're looking at Green Bay. If they're going to lose this game, they're going to be five ahead. The Minnesota would have to collapse of all collapses right now.
Minnesota would have to Minnesota it.
Yeah. I mean, what was it? So they're 6-1 right now. I mean, that it would have to be one of the biggest collapses. I mean, Minnesota's done it. We remember a couple years ago. I mean, I don't say a couple years ago, but I mean, it was like 2 decades ago now. They were like 8-0 or something like that. And was it the boat party or something like that? And they ended up losing like the 8 games in a row. So it's been done before, but I don't think that this Minnesota's that Minnesota.
No,
but, there was like a yacht party or something like that.
The yacht party. Man, those yacht parties get a lot of people in trouble.
Right.
I don't get it. How I was going to ask you here, this Arizona team, by the way, a big disappointment in this game here. I really thought Arizona would come through in this game because it's one of those perfect matchups against the defense that they can beat, a big running defense. Like, you can go beat a defense that can't stop the run. Benjamin kind of failed. Murray kind of ran all over the place. But this Arizona offense, man, in defense alone, like, they got the names. What is up?
How hot is the kitchen? Is it getting hot in the kitchen for Cliff Kingsbury? I know they just gave him the extension, but I mean,
it's starting to get warm. I think it's starting to get warm because I'm really disappointed in the fact that, like, this team should have been a lot closer. And then you go down and finish the game. What did Murray do? He like tripped and fell trying to get to the
sack twice. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm disappointed in it. Like, I think Hopkins coming in has changed this team's dynamic coming into play, but at the same time, they're not using all the tools they have there. There's a lot of good players on that team, and they can't put it all together.
Yeah. Back to Minnesota real quick. What's their ceiling? Super Bowl? Are they Super Bowl, NFC Championship game?
The way they're playing, I would say NFC Championship game. I would say NFC Championship game's the ceiling.
So would you say right now?
What was that?
Would you say right now your pick would be NFC Championship game, Eagles, Minnesota?
Oh yeah, I think so. I'd say right now. The season ended today. Eagles, Vikings, Seahawks, Falcons, Cowboys. Switch Cowboys, Falcons around.
Commanders or 49ers. I think the 49ers look really good. I mean, we'll get into them a little bit later, but
Yeah.
man, CMC looked as good as advertised in a 49er uniform as can be. I think Minnesota's just not getting enough love because of who their quarterback is. Because it's if their quarterback had a different last name other than Cousins on it, nationwide, people would be talking about how good this team is. But because their quarterback has a jersey that says Cousin on it, like that's the people aren't buying stock into him.
It's not a lie. He's just not. I don't know. Not next level.
If his jersey said Hurts on it, or Prescott or somebody like that,
he hate me.
Yeah, he hate me. That's what they hate me. Mr. 500.
You like that?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah. Hey, you like that? Hey, he might be saying that right now. Mr. 500 is what I like to call him. Because his record a couple weeks ago was exactly the perfect 500. Now he's passed a couple 500 games because Minnesota's won. But I mean, as long as he doesn't turn it over, they're gonna win games because that defense is really good. All it is. And I mean, I said it. I mean, Dalvin Cook is top 5 running back. I mean, Justin Jefferson, top 5 wide receiver. Then that doesn't even throw in Adam Thielen, who's top 25 probably wide receiver.
At least
at minimum, right? Like,
yeah,
he's right there. He's probably
one use of the best. Your weapons. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, Adam Thielen's probably one of the best number 2 wide receivers in the league. Like,
oh yeah, big time.
For sure,
big time. Yeah, it's just use your weapons, run the ball. You got 2 great running backs actually underneath you, Madison and Cook. Use them. Use them.
Like,
yeah, as long as he can stay healthy. That's the only issue with Irv.
Yeah. Speaking about another maybe a possible NFC contender, the Cowboys here. This game was a little bit closer. The Bears got it within 5. I thought they were going to cover there for a minute. Then all things went to all hell.
Yeah,
Michael Parsons scooped and scored, and then the game got out of hand. The Bears look like a competent team here, folks. Like they're finding ways and finding an offense. It took a while, but unfortunately they're 3-5. Cowboys now improved to 6-2. Justin Fields 161 yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for 8 carries, 60 yards and a touchdown. Darnell Mooney 5 receptions, 70 yards. Hey, my boy N'Keal Harry, baby. I've been pumping all this time. 2 receptions, 24 yards, and a touchdown.
And a tutty.
Yeah. Hey, if you've been following us for a while, I was pumping N'Keal Harry as a joke is to be the number 1 fantasy guy. But hey, I should have mentioned that. I didn't know he scored a touchdown. I was getting my hair cut when this game was going on. So if I'd done that, I would have told Ryan Larson, hey, what about N'Keal Harry today?
That's right.
Next time he's on something, I might have to pump that out. I might tweet that out as soon as the show's over. Dak Prescott, 2 touchdowns. Tony Pollard, 14 carries, 131 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, Tony Pollard had himself a day, Tanner. 5 receptions, 77 yards. There was already talk, Tanner, about Pollard or Zeke. I mean, now the room just got a little bit louder as Tony Pollard got the bulk today and proved that he could be maybe the number 1 guy.
Yeah, that's so much pressure on Zeke right now that to be able to keep a starting job, all it takes is one game for Zeke to underperform, and Pollard could shine right away. I mean, we already knew we were already high on Pollard. A lot of people were high on Pollard. Zeke's been actually having a pretty decent year compared to last year. Actually, a pretty good year coming into play. I think more into play if they can get less of the who's starting what and get more into similar to Minnesota, similar to what Bears are. Get that 1-2 punch going. Like if Dak can have a running game underneath him, and then he can spread the ball out like he did today with the wide receivers and weapons he has, this Dallas team could turn itself from a playoff contender to a possibly, hope, dare I say it, a Super Bowl contender, just because that defense alone is playing so well. This offense can get a 1-2 punch going in the run game, and then Dak continues played like he did today, every day. This team can be scary. Team can be scary.
Yeah, they're a team that can definitely do it. I think you're right. Like they need a little nice 1-2 punch. I said that yesterday. I don't know about flipping them. I think Tony Pollard outside the tackles and then you can give it to Zeke inside the tackles. Everybody's poo-pooing on Zeke, but he's had a decent year.
He really has.
If you look at inside the numbers, he's right there as far as. But Tony Pollard's just more explosive, I think, at this point in time in his career. So that's why everybody's jumping on Tony Pollard, because you see Tony Pollard breaking the 20-yard gains.
Yeah, it's also a shiny, nice new shiny toy there for Dallas too. So
yeah, Scott wants to know: do you guys think the Bears can win 6 games this year? Tanner, I'm gonna give you. So they got 3 wins right now. Here's the remaining schedule: Dolphins next week. I don't see them winning that game. Then they got the Lions. The Lions in Chicago. They could win that game. Okay. Then they got. Then they go to Atlanta. That they could win that game.
Okay. Yeah, I think they could.
Then they got the Jets. At that, I mean, the Jets lost today, but
the Jets. You said,
that's a possible.
I'm putting at 5.
Okay, we'll split Falcons Jets and give them that 5 wins right there. Then they got the Packers again, which I mean that game's in Chicago. Even as bad as the Packers are, I'll always take us to beat the Bears.
I like the Packers against the Bears.
Then they got
Aaron Rodgers is their daddy.
Yeah. Then they got the Eagles, which that's a loss. They got the Bills. That's a loss. Then they got the Lions again, this time in Chicago or in Detroit. And then they got Minnesota the last week of the season comes to town.
The answer is no, Scott. The answer is no. They do not win 6. They come close. They don't win it. They split with the Lions.
You think they split with Detroit?
Yeah, I think they get Detroit either the first time or the second time. I don't think they beat the Falcons. I think the Falcons kind of outrun them in a way. So I think the Falcons can beat those guys or beat the Bears. And then obviously none of the other guys I have confidence in outside of the Jets losing. So I don't know, man. And I don't know, like after this game too, I don't feel like that defense looked the same. Like there was a huge blow with, the trade going on with Philly. And this defense is not the same. This defense looked deflated, no energy. And obviously we saw it on the scoreboard here with Dak running up the score and Pollard 3 touchdowns. And not a good thing. Not a good thing here. And I think that affects Chicago more than Justin Fields affects Chicago.
Yeah, their defense needed to step up. Trading Quinn, obviously, losing a veteran.
Big effect.
Like that, too, yeah. Looks like Scott wants to know, and I didn't see this either before we get into the next one here. Did you guys see Kenny Pickett said the offensive players of Pittsburgh aren't studying enough? Ooh,
I'm so shocked.
How about the rookie calling out
the vets?
The vets.
Deontay Johnson. What's his face? TikTok star.
Chase Claypool.
Yeah, thank you, Claypool. What does that say about Najee? What does that say about some of these other younger guys? Pickens.
Yeah.
The future of Pittsburgh.
I mean, that's not the first time. That's not the first time that we heard that either, that these guys don't study.
I'm pretty sure Big Ben said something last year about that too.
Yeah. Yeah. And for the rookie, hey, good kudos for Kenny Pickett for saying that, and you kind of saying, hey guys, we got to step it up,
something different.
Yes, because we look like absolute
garbage,
dog shit. Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll get into the Eagles-Steelers game here while we're talking about the Steelers. I mean, 35-13. Hey, the Eagles, it was like a 10.5 spread. Well, shoot, it could have been about a 20-point spread here. I mean, the Eagles just put it on them. AJ Brown had himself a day.
I asked what Philly Sports earlier today. I said, "Hey, is CJ Watt playing?" He told me no, and I said, "Give me the spread."
Yeah,
that's all I wanted.
Allen said if they use Justin Fields like they have been, they can do well in
Yeah.
the team pits. Yeah, no, that
Look,
I think they can. I mean,
look,
they just
Alan,
have rough road ahead. We just listed out their schedule.
On my big board here, I put down some bets. I'll show you. I had the Bears money line on there. You know why? Because they've been taking it to these teams. They lost to Washington by 1 yard on a catch at the end of the game.
Beat New England.
They beat New England. They pounded New England. And I'm sitting there like, hey, we got some momentum going. We this offense is starting to turn things around. And they scored points today as well. But that defense was playing so well. And then I didn't think twice about this trade for whatever reason. And I think that trade in the end kind of blew it. This is a team, if they can get back into a good mindset, that defense, that Bears team is going to give a lot of teams fits. This is not the same Bears team as last year. This is a Bears team that can actually go out and compete a little bit.
Yeah, Alan, Douglas got an interception here. I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. I mean, we're losing 27-10 here. It's in the fourth quarter.
Let's go, baby. Go to the end zone. Go to the end zone, Packers.
That's what they just did. They just fucking grabbed the ball, got all their teammates. Gonna do a fucking. You get your fucking asses off the goddamn field. You guys, it's 27-10. You can't stop a fucking nosebleed when they run the damn ball. You're luckily Josh Allen just decided to make a dumb play and throw across his fucking body.
No, Josh Allen. Let's go.
God, shut up, Jesus. Do something. Win a damn game before you freaking start gloating.
Oh, man. You got to love it. You got to love it.
Johnny's chiming in here. He's saying what they threw up the white flag with that trade. He must have been talking about the Bears trade. The Bears.
Yeah, the Bears trade. Yeah.
I mean, the Bears weren't going to contend this year anyway. I think that they made the smart move.
No, it was the right move.
You know what I mean? For them, a right move for the Eagles. Speaking of the Eagles, let's get into the stats here this game. Kenny Pickett. I mean, Kenny Pickett's telling people guys need to study. Maybe he needs to study, Tanner. 25 of 38, only 191 yards and 1 interception. So who really needs to study?
I'm not as concerned with Kenny as most of the weapons he has.
The offensive line is awful, but the run game, Najee, only 8 carries for 32 yards. Pat Fairmouth, 4 receptions, 57 yards. I mean, Deontay Johnson, 5 for 35. I mean, just absolutely. The Steelers are trash. Mike Tomlin had a great run, folks, but his years of not having a losing season, that ends this year.
It's over this year. But what does that say about Matt Canada? Look, I had the theory out there that Canada was blowing games, right, for Trubisky to get Pickett in. Well, Pickett's been in now for 3 or 4 games, and we've still seen dog trash. Like they gotta. I honestly think he's the next one up.
Yeah, your theory didn't pan out. Canada
didn't.
I mean, Steeler fans are calling for Matt Canada's job week 2. Jalen Hurts, 285 yards, 4 touchdowns. Miles Sanders, 9 carries for 78 and a touchdown. AJ Brown, 6 for 156 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Dallas Goedert, 6 for 64. I mean, that's why that's today's game. I mean, that's why they just look so much better with AJ Brown in there with a legit number 1 stud wide receiver on their team.
It's amazing the difference what we see this year.
And we just give it right back to him. Intercept. Oh, did he drop it? It looked like
he dropped it.
I don't. They gave it to him. Yeah, well, there it is. I told you, 1 foot forward, 2 feet back. That's the logo of the Packers season, baby.
It's just amazing to me how much different or how better the Eagles. Oh yeah, that was an interception. Yeah, how better the Eagles offense looks this year with AJ Brown at helm, but also another year with Jalen Hurts, how much different he looks. It looked like this guy studied his butt, worked his butt off for that Eagles in the offseason. And now this guy can literally do what a lot of these elite quarterbacks can do: win on the ground, win in the air, and give his team a chance.
So Alan's saying, I said this earlier about Hurts. Watch the OU Baylor game in 2019. Sooners got down 28-3. Hurts never lost composure. Led a second half comeback. That is his composure he's playing with now. 100%. Hey,
Yeah.
I've apologized to Jalen Hurts because I thought he was trash and doo-doo before the season. So I've backtracked that statement and I've apologized. Hey, I was wrong on him. Speaking of being wrong, a lot of people were wrong on the Raiders. Tanner, the Raiders dead here. They go into New Orleans and win. Hold on. Johnny, I thought we was friends. Do the Packers win 6 games? Just say, you know what, Johnny? You know what? I thought we were friends. You come on here, and now you're asking me if my Packers win 6 games at their funeral. We're at the Packers funeral here, Johnny, and you're out here asking me if we're going to win 6 freaking games? I don't think so right now. I don't even know. Let's look at their schedule before we get into this garbage of the Raiders.
Right, what are we? We're at 3 wins, right? 3 wins?
Three. We're going to be 3-5. Let's look at their schedule here. So we got the Lions next week. Hopefully that's a win. Hopefully. Cowboys right now. The Cowboys, I would pick the Cowboys to beat us. The Titans with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's going to rush for 300 yards against us. That's 400-yard rushing day. If you have Derrick Henry against the Packers, smash that for 200+ rushing yards for real. I might take a bet on that. The Eagles, that's a loss. We just talking about how good the Eagles are. The Bears, well, we just went. We said we own the Bears. Another disappointing team, the Rams. I don't really know. 2 shit teams right now. Then we got the Dolphins. Probably Dolphins like to pass, so I don't know. I don't think so. Then we got Minnesota again.
No,
which is the loss in Green Bay, and then we got the Lions come to Green Bay. So, what's that? How many do you got there?
5. I think you split with the Lions. I think the Lions get you 1 time this year.
I wouldn't doubt it. That's
crap.
Here.
No way. This Green Bay team finishes with less than 6.
I mean, it's possible, Tanner. As bad as it looks right now, it's possible.
Oh my.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I
hope you're wrong too.
Yeah, Johnny.
Yeah, when he's healthy. Here. When he's healthy, Johnny.
AJ Brown is a beast. Yeah, I'm just waiting. You got to wait for that injury bug to hit. If you're the Eagles, you just hope he stays healthy.
Let me go trade for him, and so he can get his injury bug, because that's what's happened last 2 years.
Right down the fucking another touchdown. Bills are about to score. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the funeral of the Green Bay Packers. And I mean, it's 27-10. The Bills are about to score another touchdown. I told you it was going to be almost over 14. It's all bad.
Is that James Cook?
Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Cook.
Wide open. Yeah. I mean, it's speaking of being bad. How about the marriage that should have never? Hey, two guys that are realizing that they should have stayed together. Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. I said this before. It's like the Wolverine meme. Where they just stare at each other and they talk about how much they miss each other, because that's what's going on for both these teams. The Eagles made the huge trade to get AJ Brown. The Green Bay Packers traded away, and really, I mean, he's not doing dick in Oakland or Las Vegas, wherever the hell they play at these days.
He has done the last. He has never had less than 7 targets all season long. He's put up 10 to 11 points or more every game. But I go out and trade CeeDee Lamb for freaking Devontae Adams last week for this week's matchup, and I'm like, oh, I love me some Devontae.
One catch for 3
catch on 5 targets. You're throwing Devontae Adams 5 times?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
And only Derek Carr, only 101 yards passing.
Oh, trash.
It was so bad they put in Jared Stidham, and he threw for 72 yards. That's right. Josh Jacobs, who was killing it, 10 carries for 43 yards. This is a Saints team that was beat up. No Marshawn Lattimore, no Mike Thomas, who probably never will play ever again anyway, and no Jarvis Landry, but Andy Dalton. Hey, when it's not prime time, Andy, he's normal Andy, and 229 yards, 2 touchdowns. Welcome to the season, Alvin Kamara. I mean, 2
first touchdown of the year.
He had Jair. What are you doing? You again. We're down 27-10. Stop showboating. Yeah, you caught an interception.
To the end zone, baby. To the end zone.
Yeah. They're like, Green Bay defense is stepping up in the second half. We're still down 27-10.
We're gonna
Get out of here, Mike Tirico. God. Anyway, Alvin Kamara had his best game of the year. 9 catches for 96 yards, 2 touchdowns, 18 carries for 62 yards, 1 touchdown. Welcome to the season, Alvin Kamara.
Right, first touchdown of the year. Got his first 3 touchdowns of the year. Looking great. Looking back to Alvin Kamara's side. And I don't know. It's something interesting to note here. You just said Andy Dalton started again. There's a healthy Jameis Winston on the bench. And they're going with Dalton because he's been putting up the points. They've averaged 25, 26 points per game since Andy Dalton took over. Their record may not show it because their defense is awful. But Andy Dalton is out here giving them a chance, putting up points, getting opportunity out there. And I think they're kind of scared Jameis isn't going to do that for them.
I just think they think Jameis is going to throw a bunch of turnovers and they can't afford to do that.
Score points and throw turnovers.
Yeah. Saints moved to 3-5. Raiders fall to 2-5. Raiders dead, Tanner. I mean, it's his first season, but you can't score any points here against a banged up Saints defense. Is Josh McDaniels is the seat getting hot for him?
It won't be, but it should be. Let's see here. So we're at, what did you say? 2 wins?
2 wins. 2-5.
Okay, we got Jaguars next week. Maybe 3. Don't beat the Colts. Lose to the Broncos. Lose to the Seahawks, Chargers, Rams, Patriots. You might get a Steelers win. Yep, they're dead. Bury them up. Join the Packers. There's no way this team is so much better than what they are providing on the field. I don't necessarily understand if that's a Derek Carr production as we've seen past years, or if this is actually a McDaniels issue. I think honestly for me, I would have no surprise in this if Carr gets moved on from this year. As much as Devontae may hate it, I wouldn't be surprised at Carr. How about we just do Rodgers to Vegas?
Derek Carr needs to be replaced. He has not been good.
Exactly, Scott.
But is he going to? Because Devontae, that's the whole reason Devontae went to Vegas, is to play with
Derek Carr.
Hey there. Yeah, Derek Carr. I mean, Tanner or Johnny says Devontae chose playing with his boy over winning. I don't know. The Packers ain't winning either. So, I mean, we only have 1 win. But I do think if we had Devontae, we would be different. We would be different. You know what I mean?
It'd be different.
I don't know if Devontae helps us too much in this 27-10 ass whooping we're taking from the Bills right now. But
maybe not this game, but some of the other games. You wouldn't lose to the Giants.
The Giants, the Jets, the Commanders.
You wouldn't have lost to them.
Probably not.
You'd be in a much better, different situation, I think, with Devontae at hand. So, but Devontae also out here, you're going to be last place in the division as well.
Yeah. Like I said, they miss each other. That's a divorce that should have never happened. So Scott's just saying here too. McDaniels is a great OC, but a horrible head coach. You agree with that? I mean, we've seen guys like that. Norv Turner. I mean, was like that great OC. Just never could be a good head coach. I mean, because
Todd Bowles,
head coach, you're overall everything. I mean, Todd Bowles looks like that. I
it
mean, there's
it
been
happens.
several
It
guys.
happens like that. Like
What was the Chiefs old coach before any? Was it Gailey or something like that?
are you talking about
He
oh
was
my
the
lord, Todd
he was
Haley?
Todd Haley. He was a good OC in a couple different places.
With yeah, and
Awful head
he
coach.
actually went to Pittsburgh afterwards, and he looked really good there as an OC
Yeah.
after the Chiefs tenure.
Gunther Cunningham of the Chiefs, it was like that a little bit too. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of guys. Romeo Crennel. I mean, I know
Romeo
I'm not just
Crennel.
naming off Chiefs head coaches. That's just what's coming to my head right now. But I mean, there's a lot of coaches like that are great coordinators.
Matt
awful head
Nagy.
coaches. Matt Nagy.
Yeah.
Johnny wants to know. We kind of talked about this. Does Kamara get traded? I don't think so. Not after the win. Like they're right there in the playoff hunt. If the Packers
Nobody
are
wants to
one
pay
game out-
Kamara. Nobody wants to pay Kamara. Nobody wants to deal with that possible suspension next year. Nobody wants to deal
Romeo
with that.
Dobbs, nice catch again. Welcome. A little bit too late. Alan says Dave Campo. Dave Campo, another guy that's a great OC, bad head coach. Let's get into it. Hey, I told people that the Jets were going to lose this game to the Pats because how bad the Pats look Monday night. Pats don't look bad 2 games in a row under a great coach like Bill Belichick. Mac Jones didn't play great. 194, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I alluded to it earlier in the show, Tanner. He had another pick 6, but it got called back, and that's when the game kind of turned around because they were losing at that point. And then the pick 6 gets turned back due to a penalty. You look at Ramon Stevenson, 16 carries, 71 yards, 7 receptions, 72 yards. Jacoby Myers, 9 receptions, 60 yards. The Jets here. Zach Wilson, 3 interceptions. That's what he hadn't done up till today. It was the turnovers. And that's what ended up what costed him. Garrett Wilson, 6 receptions for 115 yards. Do you claim that to the what's his name? He was out today. Davis being out is Garrett Wilson's kind of bounce back game.
Oh, Corey Davis.
Yeah.
No, I just think this is Zach Wilson going against Bill Belichick team that's in the same division as him. This is what Bill Belichick does. He circles these division games, and really outside the Bills, the only teams that can really contend to beat them is not the Jets. I think the Bills and Dolphins would be the only, obviously the ones that would have a chance just because of the talent they have. Belichick does this though. He does this with every division game. That's why they're always so freaking close. And why is he sticking with Mac Jones? I want to know why you're sticking with Mac Jones. Go get Bailey. Put Bailey in. You don't get 2 pick 6s, okay? And 1 called back, whatever. You don't get 2 pick 6s. This is a guy that gave you a couple wins going into play. You should have Tom Brady this decision already before last week. Now we're sitting here almost losing the game. They would have lost with that pick 6, obviously. I don't get it. I don't get what Belichick's do. We talked about it this morning. I don't get it. There's no reason for this. There's no reason for this.
Yeah, Scott's saying here he totally agrees with you. He's all in on the old Zappy man.
Tom Brady it. Let's go.
Put him everybody in. Likes old the Zap man over Mac Jones, it seems like. Hey, but Pats get the win. Jets now that's go to 5-3. Are the Jets who we thought they were, or are they still just a team that could really make some noise here?
They can make some noise yet. Like this Jets team, I don't think is like they were last year by any means, or the last couple of years. This is a team that can be competitive and get out there. If Zach Wilson can learn how to read defenses and get the ball to his weapons, this team will be fine. But Zach Wilson, when he gets in a hurry, when he gets rushed, he's a big, what do I want to say, overreaction kind of guy, and that's when the picks come into play. If he can just contain himself, stay calm, and look out towards his reads, that team's going to be fine. So that team ultimately falls back on quarterback play. If there's any other team in this NFL right now, the Jets' season is determined on quarterback play.
So Samari Torrey just scored a touchdown. Scott wants to give me a
Hey,
bio
he is
on
here. Okay.
that. Well, there isn't any bio. He was a guy that was on their practice squad, and because
He was a
we
sixth
yeah
round
we
pick,
just
right? Or sixth or seventh?
yeah I mean that's it, Scott. He's playing because, well, we don't have anybody else because, everybody, we decided, hey, let's go out and get a bunch of guys who get hurt. I mean, Christian Watson, well, he's made of glass. Sammy Watkins, well, his hammy always hurts. Randall Cobb's 85 years old and he always gets hurt. So, and then we have Romeo Dobbs, who's an unproven rookie who made some nice catches. And yeah, this Tory guy got his first career touchdown, but it's a little bit too late. So, another game that doesn't matter. Josh Allen will probably march the Bills down, score a freaking touchdown, and that's the game. So, there's that.
It's just like the, as I would call it, the JG effect. If you guys don't know the JG effect on the sports defense, let me break it down real quick here. This is the guy that if he wants a certain team to win, he will talk trash about them. And somehow, some way, that team he's talking trash on ends up pulling it out and winning. And he also has an opposite effect, though. Okay, so that Chiefs game when they played the Colts, what was it, back in 11 or whatever, and we were up like 28-0 going into halftime, right? Remember that game?
Yeah, I remember that game.
Well, here comes JG through the door at the Buffalo Wild Wings we're at. Well, we all know how that went down. Big old loss. So JG has two different effects. Okay, this is what I call a JG effect. You talk trash as they're trying to perform, and it causes them to almost look good and win. So you got to keep this effect up.
No, the Packers are still trash. So I mean, they're not winning this game. I mean, we don't even know if we're winning 6 games all year.
No doubt.
No doubt. A team that's probably also not going to win 6 games, and that's the Texans here. Titans roll in. Malik Willis gets the start. I mean, six. He only threw the ball 10 times. When you got Derrick Henry, though, running it for 32 carries, 219
Who needs it?
Touchdowns. I mean, you don't need to throw the ball. I mean, there's no reason to even read the receiving stats because, I mean, hey, that's what it's going to be like when they play this is the perfect Mike Variable game. I mean, this game was a pick'em game, I think, because just nobody thought that they would the Titans.
It was -2.
Yeah.
To at least on Wednesday it was.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I think it even drew to even once Malik Willis got the start. Yeah. But Davis Mills, 152, 1 touchdown. Damian Pierce, 15 carries for 35 yards. Not much offense of the.
He did get a touchdown receiving, so that's that for Pierce. That's kind of nice. But yeah, this is Texans' chance to get a second win, and wow, that's all I'm gonna say. It's just wow. Like, let King Henry and Dontre Hillard roll over people, no problem. But man, like you said it too, right? You said this was Mike Variable game. Well, yeah. Mike Variable. What did the Patriots do last year in the Bills to beat the Bills when it was that really bad weather? They ran the ball. Football. Guess what? When you have an unproven quarterback or a quarterback you're not trusting all the way, run the football if you've got the guys, and both teams had it. So I think he called Bill on this game, honestly, and said, "Hey, Bill, what do I got to do? What should I do?" And he said,
"Run." No, he knows what to do. Run the damn ball to King Henry.
Run the damn ball.
Allen's is Green Bay taking a QB in there. Allen, I thought we were friends too, man. You guys just like fucking with me today, huh? I mean, it's a funeral here. Have some respect, Allen. We already have our future quarterback of the year. We should have drafted a receiver. Instead, we traded up to take this guy named Jordan Love from BYU.
Yeah, Jordan Love's the future, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's going to be great. I was super stoked on that draft. Not. We should have got a receiver. You know who we should have took? Justin freaking Jefferson. Why didn't we trade up and get him? Or why didn't we get DK Metcalf or somebody like that? Instead, they're like, hey, how about this freaking bum kid from BYU, Jordan Love? Jordan Love will probably be the only jersey. I have an Aaron Rodgers jersey. I have a Brett Favre jersey. I have a Bart Starr jersey. I probably won't have a Jordan Love jersey. Sorry, Jordan Love. but it's not his fault. It's not his fault.
Unless he becomes a superstar.
It's Gutekunst's fault. Yeah, I guess so. You're right. Let's see.
Yep, that's very true there, Scott.
Houston's the worst in the NFL.
Look what Eckler did to them a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
The same with I think Jacobs. I think he had a big game against them too.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's going to have a huge game against us. That's for sure. I'll smash the over 100+ rushing yards on the Derrick Henry game. You need to start. Thanks, Johnny. I appreciate it. Comedy is how I deal with depression. So in this,
when I make you laugh, I'm sad.
Yes. Is the Packer way, Nick? Don't draft it back. Exactly. Hey, we only draft defense. You know, Scott. Speaking of the. We've drafted 9. We have 9 first-round picks on our freaking defense. Yet we can't stop the run at all. Like, so, I mean, we're giving up 30 points a game, 27-17 here, and we have 9 first-round picks. So clearly, we just don't know how to fucking draft. Is what it comes down to, Tanner. We absolutely stink.
Oh man, they're really hammering you right now.
Alan's chiming in here. Can't even get through the games here. I have a cousin with a Packers fan, so I hear it all the time. Need to remind you that Dez caught the game in 2006. Hey, I'll let you have that. Kenny is one of my co-hosts. He's a big Cowboys fan, Alan. And I texted him way back in 2016. I said Dez caught the ball. I said he caught it. I still, to this day, to me, that's a catch. I'll take it. I mean, didn't do anything because we didn't. It's not like we won the freaking Super Bowl or anything, but we did end up winning that game. But yeah, Alan, he did catch the damn ball. Okay, I'm not one of them guys. I'm not delusional. Yeah, no, yeah. He caught it. I said it in live time. I said he thought he caught the ball. So there's that. Before we get into the next one, is Henry going to be wasted? I don't think he's being wasted. He's getting paid. They made the AFC Championship game a few years ago. They make the playoffs. They were the number 1 seed last year. Remember that, folks. Last year, the Titans were.
Yep, and they were injured. I mean, he had injured only 1 year in like the last 3.
Or not last year, 2 years ago, they were the number 1 team. Not
no,
last year.
Last
year he got hurt.
Yeah, but last year they were the number 1.
Were they still last year?
Yeah, they were number 1, and they lost to the Bengals.
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago was that one. Year ago, they ended up losing to Joe Burrow in those lucky
divisional
Cincinnati
round
Bengals.
game.
Yeah, and that was the 1 seed for Titans. That's how they got to come. Cincinnati got to come down to KC.
Oh, to KC. So yeah, fine. I mean, so the Titans. I mean, yeah. So I wouldn't see they're being wasted. He's being wasted.
I don't think it's being wasted. I mean, if you're talking about not winning the championship, then yes, he would be considered wasted.
They're contender team that nobody talks about.
Exactly. I don't think he's being. I wouldn't say he's being wasted at all.
Scott's chiming in here. Don't worry, Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to play a home playoff game. This is all part of the plan, Scott. To look this bad. I hope so. I hope so. And then Alan's chiming in here. Johnny Henry is to 8. That's 100%
that's not a lie.
On the money. 100% on the money. He is Tennessee. Those boys get it done. I didn't want this one. We already talked about this game. This is the one I want. Let's get into 2 surprising teams here. They're going into it. It's Seahawks pull this one out. I mean, 27-13. The Seahawks have put up over, I mean, double-digit wins in their last like 3 games here. I was kind of surprised on this game. Hey, Alan says, is Gino MVP? No, but I said this on Wednesday's show. I said you can spell redemption Geno because Gino is getting it done. Comeback player of the year, or whatever you want to name it. I mean, geez. Scott's chiming in here. He's saying
True.
DK Metcalf hey, true that. Hey, DK, hey, he wasn't supposed to be out like a month or something like that, and then just comes out and plays
Looks like
superhuman.
DK.
Looks like DK. Daniel Jones, a typical Danny Dimes game, 17-31, 176 yards. Saquon, 20 carries, 53 yards, 1 touchdown. They had some fumbles, especially on special teams. The Giants did. I think they fumbled 2 punts. Geno, 212 for 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker is probably one of my new favorite players in the league. 18 carries, 51 yards, and a touchdown. DK and Tyler Lockett both scored touchdowns. Tyler Lockett, 5 for 63, 6 for 55 yards, 1 touchdown. Seattle now 5-3. The Giants 6-2. Tanner, are the Seahawks winning this damn division? Because, I mean, who would have thought that? This was a team I thought was going to be one of the worst in the league, and through half the season right now, they look like a team that could beat anybody.
Yeah, this is a team that I thought was contending for the number 1 overall pick before we even began the season. And look where they're at now. I think this is one of 2 teams that can win the NFC West, the other one being the 49ers. I think one of those 2 teams end up winning the NFC West, and it's going to come down to their head-to-head matchups there. I love what I'm seeing from the Seahawks. They have a run game. They have a passing game. And we saw Geno able to pass against that really tough New York Giants defense. Granted, it took till the 4th quarter to put some more points on the board. But I am very impressed by the Seahawks offense, the way it's continued to just dominate the points board.
So Alan's saying, hey, we said the same thing about Atlanta. And they can win. So, hey, you're right. You're right. I mean, the Seahawks, I thought were full rebuild mode. And, I mean, I feel like the kid from Eminem on Stan. Hey, dear Geno, I wrote to you, but you still ain't calling. I left my cell, my pager, and my phone at the bottom. And Geno's looking at me like, hey, they wrote me off, but I ain't right back. You know, that's just kind of how I feel with Geno Smith, because I wrote him off years ago, when Rex Ryan drafted him. So kudos to Geno. Kudos to the Seahawks, man. They're a team that, again, man, this is a team I can kind of get behind, even though I hate Seattle for all the things that they've done to Green Bay over the years. So it's hard for me to root for them. But
a quick hit on the Giants here. What we saw today is the whole reason why the Giants need some receivers, some receiving staff. They only got 56 yards out of Saquon. This is a team that relies on the run, and when their defense can't hold back an offense for the whole entire game. Granted, that defense did such a great job until that 4th quarter when they finally broke loose off that defense. Seattle did. This is the whole reason why the Giants will struggle on these kind of games. As long as it's low scoring, under 20 is what I'm saying, low scoring, right? The other team has to be under 20, and this has to be about. As soon as it gets above 20, the Giants are out because they can't compete with anything above that 20 mark on their offense.
They can't get below 2 scores. And what happened today is what they can't happen. They can't have turnovers. They can't turn. They're not a team that can afford to turn the ball over. Bill Belichick said it best. More games are lost than more games are won. And by meaning that, it's like you turn the ball over, you make silly mistakes, that's, and that's what happened to the Giants today. Like they lost that game due to mistakes and the turnovers. More than Seattle took advantage of that and won that game. So that's the Giants did what they couldn't do, and that's turning the ball over. They hadn't been turning the ball over most of the season. They had 2 costly fumbles, and Seattle capitalized, and they didn't have the turnovers. And I mean, like I said, Kenneth Walker is probably turning into one of my favorite players in this league. Dude runs hard, is super good. Let's get into the next one here. The Rams, Scott's saying the Rams will not make the playoffs. Book it. Rams lose. The 49ers own the Rams in the regular season. This is 8 straight games.
Yeah, they do.
It doesn't matter. No Debo, no problem. CMC becomes the first player since 2005 to throw a touchdown pass, catch a touchdown pass, run for a touchdown. CMC looked just as advertised. Jimmy, 2 touchdowns. I said, Christian went 18 carries for 94 yards. Brandon Ayuk, 6 for 81 and a touchdown. George Kittle had a touchdown. The Rams offense continues to stink. Matthew Stafford only 187 for 1 touchdown. Cooper Kupp, 8 receptions, 79 yards, 1 touchdown. Tanner, at what point in time does the Super Bowl hangover it's not a thing and the Rams are just crap this year?
Rams are just bad. They need a big move before Tuesday to be able to put themselves back into contention. But this team is just too inconsistent. Matthew Stafford's afraid to spread the ball around. There was no running game, so all they're doing is passing. Cooper Kupp's now hurt, and the defense looks old. The play is simple. They look old. It's not a good D, not a good team at all. I agree with Scott. I don't think they make the playoffs unless they go out and make a big move. And when I mean a big move, something to improve either that run game or get them a receiver that Matthew Stafford will trust.
What if they go and trade for Kareem Hunt?
I think that puts them right back into contention. I think now you go from 2 teams from the NFC West to a 3rd team entering the books. That run game would be so huge for LA. And it's probably the key that a lot of us think maybe they're not missing, but they are missing it.
Yeah, I think they are missing the run game. I mean, that whole offense is supposed to be set up by the run, right? Like that's just
that's the whole point of it. A McVay offense.
Yeah, McVay, Shanahan, all that, the whole tree. It's supposed to be able.
Did I
think
lose?
that they're going to win this game. Yeah, I mean, let's get into the last and final game here. Commanders, Colts. Commanders were down in this game, but my guy Taylor Heineke finds a way. I mean, some laser darts, threw a dart to Terry McLaurin to set that game-winning touchdown up. In another play on 4th down, through some nice plays. Sam Ehlinger gets the start for the Colts here, but loses 17-16. Taylor Heineke, 279 for a touchdown. Ran a touchdown in. Terry McLaurin, 6 receptions, 113 yards. If there's one guy that's glad that Taylor Heineke's playing, it's him, because he was a no-show under Carson Wentz in there. Sam Ehlinger, not bad game, 17-23 yards for 201 yards. Jonathan Taylor, what has gone on with him? 16 carries for 76 yards. And I mean, what's going on there? Is it JT? Is it the offensive line? And how bad are the Colts?
Honestly, I just think it's the whole offense that's the reason that JT's struggling. Not only that, but JT's banged up already early in the season. He came out for a little bit with the wrist injury, came back in. But that offensive line's awful. They can't get anything going in the passing game. Like, it's just not an overall great setup for a Colts team like this. Like, they need to have something better. And that run offensive line is atrocious right now, let alone trying to block for a quarterback. So I think it's just overall an offensive scheme issue.
Yeah. How hot is Frank Wright's seat? I think he's gone. Frank Wright's go, right? Like
he's gone. If they don't make the playoffs, essentially, if they don't make the playoffs, I think he's out. He's the next move, right? Has to be the next move.
Got to be. They blamed quarterbacks year after year. So it's got to be Frank, right? Like it's and he's the one that wanted these guys. He wanted Carson. Carson didn't work. I don't know if he wanted I'm not
I don't
sure.
think he wanted Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did he want Matt Ryan? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he ever was able to get his guy, essentially, and he kind of got stuck with management's guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think this was a management move, though, to go to Sam Ehlinger. Was it? I mean,
yeah, I think so too. I think Irsay even stepped into that one. Granted, Irsay likes Matt Ryan, but I think it's just something they were like, hey, we got to try something here. We can't do
Yeah.
anything. This is bad. It's bad football. How about a real quick shout out Tyler Heineke putting some energy into that Commanders team the last couple weeks here. Do you think Heineke should start over Wentz?
I've been
Forward?
saying that. Yeah. They should never go back to Wentz.
I like it.
Keep Heineken in. Never should have went and got Wentz. If you were going to replace Heineke, it should have been with a draft a guy you drafted. But Heineke's to me is, I wouldn't say 10 times better than Wentz, but he's better than Wentz. He gives him a better shot to win.
Mm-hmm. Oh, big time. Big time.
All right, Tanner, it's everybody's favorite time. It's time to give out dogs of the week. So go ahead and give me your absolute dog of the week.
I mean, how can we not pick Mr. Derrick Henry coming into play? He has to be the dog of the week for me. 32 carries, 219 yards, and a couple tutties to get that win against the Texans without Ryan Tannehill, without a passing game, with a rookie quarterback at play, and a defense that kind of showed up today. So give me Derrick Henry as my dog of the day.
Yeah, my dog of the week is Derrick Henry's ex-teammate, A.J. Brown, 6 receptions, 156 yards, 3 tutters. We alluded to it. This is why the Eagles went out and got him. Jalen Hurts looks like an absolute stud with A.J. Brown back there. A.J. Brown is an absolute dog. Like I said, the 3 tutters, put it to the Steelers. Steelers had no answers for my man, A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, my friend, you are dog of the week. Stay healthy. Keep dogging it up. Eagles, look, how far, before we get into our turd of the week, Tanner, how far can the Eagles go undefeated?
You know what? Let's pop this up here real quick. I think I said they can go to a few more weeks. So they have the Texans, Commanders, and Colts, the Packers, the Titans, the Giants, the Bears. Honestly, they can go all the way to Christmas Eve to that Cowboys game. I think they can go all the way there.
You think to the Cowboys? So what's
to
that?
The Cowboys, Christmas Eve.
What's that? 10? What's that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more games. Technically 8, I guess 8 more games till the Cowboys, but 7 just past the Bears. So honestly, I think as long as everybody stays healthy there and that Eagles team looks the way they do right now, I'd say they go till they see the Cowboys.
Snyder only traded for Wentz to keep the media off his back. Alan saying his dog here is Tony Pollard. Hey, that's
no doubt.
Yep,
no doubt.
I could agree with that. Scott's he's on my train here. Jalen Hurts / AJ Brown for and then he's saying play Miles Sanders this week for the Eagles. So all right, Tanner.
Yeah.
So from our dogs, let's get to our last turd of the week. Somebody who absolutely shit the bed.
Well, it's not a hard one here, guys. Las Vegas Raiders overall team, I guess. The Raiders themselves completely just gave it away. Derek Carr, 15, 26, 101 yards, 3.9 average, 1 INT. He had 3 sacks on him. Jacobs with only 10 carries and 43 yards. And I think the robbery of it all was not just because I traded for him in this week here, but Devontae Adams with only 5 targets, 1 reception for 3 yards. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing for the Raiders here for this offense here? We already talked about it a little bit, but it is horrendous. And then you gave up Kamara, 3 TDs to Kamara today, total. Something's off here. Something's bad in the Raiders. It stunk today. I don't know what they stepped in, but it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, you kind of stole mine. I was going to go with the Raiders there, but I will have a little bit of a backup here. And my big old turd of the week is the defending Super Bowl champions, the Rams. You only scored 14 points. Your daddy came to town. He smacked you around. He said, "Oh, you guys wanted CMC? Well, your daddy got CMC, and they put it to you. You had no fight. Where's Aaron Donald at? Where's Matthew Stafford? Looks like he's back in Detroit. Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
They look absolutely awful. I mean, are they dead last in their division?
Yes.
Right? They
Yes.
got to be, right?
That's
Who's
correct.
that?
No,
So
Arizona is. Arizona because they
Oh,
lost
yeah.
today.
Zona's, yeah. Okay.
Arizona's dead last, but Rams are, hey, I want that spot.
Third in that division. I mean, we just missed a field goal. What do you know? So, I mean, look like absolute dog crap. The Rams, you guys are my big old fat stinky turds of the week because you're supposed to be the Super Bowl champions. And well, the Packers are going to lose by 10. So there's that. So Tanner, you got any last comments before we get out of here, before we end this Bodkin show / Packers funeral as the Packers now drop 4 in a row?
Nothing really here, you know. Just want to give a shout out real quick to Deontay Foreman. I know we're not doing the fantasy segment, but he'd be my guy of the week.
For sure.
That guy blew up. Who needs Christian McCaffrey when you got what Steve Wilkes say, the next or a Derrick Henry type of player coming into play, and he showed it today. 118 yards, 26 attempts, 3 touchdowns. I'm loving this guy. So if you guys still haven't picked him up and he's there, go grab him, stash him. I got him on my bench right away. So make sure you guys do that. But yeah,
I've been on my start the last 2 weeks in my flex play.
Oh, I thought about starting him by Miles Sanders in that spot. So, and then Swift came back and somebody, I don't remember who else. I had somebody else, but like, I can't start Foreman, but now I'm going to have to start Foreman because he's looking great. So, but nah, I really don't have anything else, dude. You know, getting ready for Halloween tomorrow, go trick or treating. And I might try to do a quick I don't think anything's going on Let's Talk Sports. So I'll try to do a quick pregame coming into play for tomorrow's night before the show, before I go out and trick or treat. So make sure I tune in Let's Talk Sports here all week here. And, you know, just hoping Dan goes well. So all this stuff.
Yeah, appreciate it, Tanner, for hopping on last minute. I thank you again, my friend. It's been a pleasure. It's been a great another episode of the Bodkin show. It has been a great Packers funeral. This is a sad day. So
and no buffoon Bodkins tomorrow, everybody. No buffoon Bodkins.
No buffoon and Bodkins. Shout out to Sugarland Shine 1-2 punch to get me through tonight's game. Helped me through. I had about 4 of those. So there's that. So I'll be back on Wednesday, folks. My Wednesday morning wrap-up show and my Wednesday night NFL week preview show. So for Tanner, I'm Bodkins. This has been another great episode of the Bodkin Show. Please like, subscribe, share, be a friend, tell a friend. On Let's Talk Sports, my man Johnny and what's it?
Scott, Alan.
Scott. No. Rob.
Oh, Rob. That's right. Sorry.
Rob and Johnny are going to hold it down talking about how bad my Packers are. So tune into that. I appreciate everybody. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks again. Dan, get better. You'll probably be better before the Packers and Jets are, my friend. So we'll see you next time. Oh, I didn't even hit my outro. I just hit